Good morning, everyone. Welcome and thank you for joining us for our webinar on how to host a Manufacturing Day event. My name is Adria and I work for the Association of Woodworking and Furnishing Suppliers. A few housekeeping items. If you have any questions during this webinar, please post them in the chat section and we will answer all questions at the end of the presentation. Also, please note this webinar is being recorded and we will send a link to all attendees after the session. An overview of our presentation today. We will discuss the manufacturing industry skills gap, which is the motivation for Manufacturing Day. We will learn about what Manufacturing Day is, and then we will dive into how to host an event and how to use resources on the Manufacturing Day website. We will then hear from 4 presenters who have hosted Manufacturing Day events in the past. The manufacturing industry, like many other industries, is experiencing a skills gap. There are open jobs and not enough skilled workers to fill them. This chart indicates the overall anticipated employment gap between now and 2030. In manufacturing alone, over 2 million jobs are expected to go unfilled between now and 2025. Of course, the wood products manufacturing industry is impacted by this as well, and companies need workers in machinery, sales, production, and many other roles. Why is this happening? There are different factors. A major one is what they call the silver tsunami. Baby boomers are aging and over 10,000 are retiring each day. The National Association of Manufacturers, or NAM, conducts a quarterly business outlook survey where they ask businesses what their current business challenges are. In the past year, attracting and retaining a quality workforce rose from the second highest to the primary challenge for businesses in the survey. As a result of this current climate, the National Association of Manufacturers, along with some partnering associations, launched Manufacturing Day. Manufacturing Day is officially the first Friday in October. The purpose of Manufacturing Day is to encourage companies to open their doors and welcome students to showcase what they do and career opportunities in their industry sector. NAM developed a robust website, mfgday.com, where hosts can register events and students and teachers can find events in their area on an interactive map. There are also great features and resources on the website to help event hosts plan and promote their event. So how does Manufacturing Day address the skills gap? This is one of the most valuable ways that we can visibly and tangibly introduce students to our industry and career opportunities. It allows us to bust the myths and misperceptions that manufacturing is outdated, dirty, and boring. Deloitte has conducted surveys after Manufacturing Day events, which found a dramatic and positive change in perception about manufacturing as a result of events. For example, 84% of students are more convinced that manufacturing provides interesting and rewarding careers. And this is the big one. 64% are more motivated to pursue careers in manufacturing after attending an event. Have I convinced you yet to host an event? I hope so. We want the wood products manufacturing industry to be on the map. We want students throughout the country to learn about companies in their local communities and consider woodworking when they start planning their career pathway. Before we talk about logistics, I want to remind you that you completely control the type of event you can have. There are no requirements from NAM or the Manufacturing Day campaign. This simply exists to help you promote and plan your event. Do what feels right for you, what you can do with your resources, and what fits your company culture. So, how to get started? The very first step is to identify the date you can host an event. Obviously, this year, Friday, October 5th is ideal because this is the official Manufacturing Day. But if that date doesn't work for you, you can pick a different date, and you can register an event on the Manufacturing Day website that is held any day of the year. I would recommend that you consider your local school schedules and not plan an event outside of regular school hours. You can even offer a multi-day event or offer multiple events, registering each event separately on the website. Once you decide on your date, decide how long your event will be. 2 hours, 4 hours, full day. You'll next want to have an idea of what type of event you will have. Will it be a straight tour or an open house? Will you offer a presentation about your company and career opportunities? There are many different approaches, and it depends on what you feel comfortable with. Next, assess your resources and gather your team of staff, vendors, and others who will help you make this event a success. Once you have identified the basics, you will want to register your event on the manufacturingday.com website. Please do this as soon as possible. Schools need a lot of time to plan. If you wait until right before your event, it is much less likely that a school will find your event, or if they do, that they will be able to coordinate logistics on their end to attend. To get started, go to mfgday.com and click on Host an Event. It is a very straightforward process that will walk you through registering your event. It is also editable. You will have an account and you can log in later to add or edit details as you move forward with planning. On the first page, it will ask you basic details about your event. On the next pages, you can specify whether this is a public event or private event that requires an RSVP. I encourage you to register your event even if it is private, which is sometimes the case if you are working directly with your local school or district, so that you can have access to the planning and promotion resources. If you have an RSVP-only event, you can gather and track RSVPs directly through the website. You will also enter contact information, a description of your company, and you can link it to your social media accounts. A recommendation: be sure to utilize both the company and the event description fields when registering your event. Many times I see companies leave this blank, or only provide very brief or vague information, or put the same information in both fields. This is the primary way that attendees learn about you and your event, so make the most of it. So that's the event registration process. Easy, right? Once your event is registered, you can get back to planning and promoting. You can use your Manufacturing Day event link to promote it on social media, in your newsletter, and in emails to customers, vendors, and others in your network. How do you reach local schools? Call them. You can also sometimes find information on the school's website. Check under the Career and Technical Education Department section. I may also be able to help you if you're trying to find a woodworking program, so please reach out to me. I will share my contact information at the end of this presentation. And don't forget to invite local media, your municipality and Chamber of Commerce, and government representatives. Meanwhile, you should be finalizing details with your host team. Develop your detailed agenda for the event. Who is guiding tours? Are you doing a presentation? If so, who is preparing it and who will present it? Are you providing any goodies or giveaways? Will you offer food? Finally, on the day of the event, have fun. This is your time to network with local students, educators, and other attendees. You never know what can come of events like this. We have seen exciting and unexpected outcomes from industry connecting directly with education at Manufacturing Day events, and we often hear of students applying for or inquiring about jobs as a result. After your event, send a follow-up email to all attendees. Let them know about any opportunities or next steps. I wanted to call out a couple of the great resources on the Manufacturing Day website because it can be a little overwhelming. There is a lot of great information. Once you register your event, you will see your host dashboard with sections on event planning, promotion, signage, surveys, and an event gallery where you can upload photos from your event. In the event planning and promotion sections, there are some robust documents, the host toolkit and the event promotion kit. Both of these PDFs are easy to follow and filled with valuable information, especially if you have never hosted an event like this. Also in the event planning section, don't miss the Rock MFG Day kit. The resources on this link are from a media vendor called Edge Factor, and there are great videos, PowerPoint templates, activities, and other ways to enhance your event. You need to sign up separately through Edge Factor to get access, and you can't sign up until your event is registered with Manufacturing Day, but I strongly recommend it if you have a savvy team member who can incorporate these features into your event. And don't forget about the visitor survey, which provides valuable feedback that you will be able to access. I hope this information helps you navigate the basics of getting started with your Manufacturing Day event. We're now going to hear from 4 companies within the wood manufacturing industry who have hosted events in the past. You will hear about their events and their advice on how to set up your event. A reminder, if you have any questions during this webinar, please post them in the chat section and we will answer at the end of the presentation. Also, please note this webinar is being recorded and we will send a link to all attendees after the session. Now I'm happy to turn it over to Brian Joyce at Blum. Brian?
Well, good morning or afternoon. I'm happy to participate in the call today and share the experiences we have here at Blum. Before I get started, though, it was great to hear, Adria, that you referenced Edge Factor. I certainly want to endorse that resource as well. So Visit the website. It's been a great tool for us as well. Blum's been manufacturing and assembling products in the United States since the mid-1980s, and we're now the second largest manufacturer in our area with about 250 individuals working in manufacturing-related positions here at Blum. 3 shifts a day, 5 days a week, and our involvement in Manufacturing Day has been extremely successful. It provides us the opportunity to get closer to our community, sharing what we do and giving a glimpse of who we are. It's also a critical component to our success. We want to be an attractive employer. We want us to be a place where the best want to come work. And due to our location, we're in competition with many companies for local manpower, and Manufacturing Day is one way we introduce ourselves to future team members. Over the past years, we've developed relationships with intermediate schools and high schools in our area. With the help of local associations, we've been able to not only meet with educators and counselors, but we've also have had a hand in creating an advanced machinery curriculum at high school levels. And through these relationships, we're able to promote our event and generate interest from the students. We begin our day by gathering the students in a light reception area, and then we put together a presentation and a plant tour, and then reassemble at the end of the day, at the end of the tour. Our goal is to engage the students immediately, and that's done very well by the presenters who are giving the presentations. We ask questions, we ask what they know about manufacturing and the types of careers that manufacturing offers. We spend a significant time separating the image that the students may have of manufacturing, delivered maybe by their parents or in pictures in books they read. We try to prepare them for a successful career, and we talk about a couple different paths that they can take. They're all aware of a traditional 4-year education, but there's also paths that include vocational or technical schools and other paths as well. So we spend time on that. We talk about a lot about manufacturing careers that are available today, the technology that's being utilized, the expertise that's required, because those typically haven't been associated with manufacturing in the past, and it resembles very little of what the picture's been painted like through the books and the parents, as I mentioned. Our goal is to raise the awareness of the type of career opportunities we have here at Blum. We use new style presentations that are more graphically inclusive so that it catches the attention of the student and keeps them interested and active in what's going on. We walk them over to some kitchen displays that we have, and we involve them in what our products look like in homes and maybe in their kitchens, how we use our products and how we enhance the experience of anybody using a kitchen. We hold mini competitions with the students, so again, to get them active and involved in the Manufacturing Day presentation. We reward the students with promotional items from our company so that they have something to take away with them when they leave. We provide plant tours. We get the students right on the floor. The manufacturing processes are right in front of them. We have our students that are engaged in the apprenticeship program here at Blum lead those plant tours, and that gives somebody that they can relate to. And we ask those students to go ahead and make the students aware of the experiences they've had while in our apprenticeship program. We allow them to ask questions. We introduce them to machine operators, managers, experts, and leaders right there on the floor. And that's in a hope that they can identify with what's available for them in a career in manufacturing. I'm sure it's going to be a common theme from the others that follow me, but it's really a fun event. We have a great time hosting the students, and there's a big buzz that goes around our building the days that the students show up. We've done a 2-day event in the past just because we've had overwhelming response from student participants that want to come out and take a look at Blum. Our marketing department does a great job tailoring the presentations to the audience. It's a student that we're in front of. We want to engage them. We want to keep them interested, like I said, and active in the day. So again, our marketing department does a great job working alongside our apprenticeship team as we pull off this wonderful day and great opportunity. Feedback's important. We want to make sure we even do a better job the next time we host students. So we ask the students and counselors to provide feedback. We do this in the way of offering a second presentation and question and answering session at the end of the plant tour, and we really hope to gather useful information so, like I said, we can be even more successful this year. We recognize the importance of youth education and career development, and we believe Manufacturing Day is a great way to connect with the students in your local area. And we certainly throw our support around Manufacturing Day and offer to help anybody who needs it as they set up for their first Manufacturing Day. And I'm available. My information will be listed at the end of the program, and I look forward to talking to anybody who has an interest. I'll answer questions later in the webinar, but I want to go ahead and turn it over now to Christina at JB Cutting.
Good morning, everyone, or afternoon, depending on where you're located. My name is Christina Relia, and I'm the Sales and Marketing Manager at JB Cutting. I've been with the company for a long time and worked in many different roles, from order entry to sales. JB Cutting is a thermofoil manufacturer, cabinet component manufacturer located in the suburbs of Detroit. We've experienced significant growth since transitioning from a small cabinet shop in the early 70s. And in the last 5 years, we've doubled in size, and we attribute that growth to our people. In the next 5 years, we plan to double again, not only in sales, but equipment and staff. And our approach to success is simple: work hard, service our customers well, and empower our employees to really make a difference. As we look to the future, many manufacturers are more than worried with good reason. By the year 2025, 2.7 million boomers retire. That's what Adrio is calling the silver tsunami, while 700,000 jobs are created through economic expansion. We, as a company, are scrambling to replace our retirees with individuals that can keep up with rapidly changing technology. We want to develop a way to reach new generations at the outset and influence students just discovering their path. In addition to working consistently with our local high schools, we use Manufacturing Day as a way to develop interest and bring a hands-on approach to students. I'll be giving you a quick overview of our event in the next few slides. We've been hosting events since 2014 and typically have 2 tours, one in the morning around 8:30 and one in the afternoon around 1 p.m. Approximately 30-some students attend each tour. We begin in our engineering department, the heart of our operation. Students assemble around a wall where we project our shop tour video and a short PowerPoint on our product lines. We don't want to bore the students. We want to keep their interest. Like Brian said, we know who we're marketing to, students, so we keep it very graphic, not very wordy. The best resource I have found to create these items is at the Manufacturing Day website. Huge shout out to Edge Factor. They've created some terrific stuff for you guys to use. Once you register your event, you gain access to all of their planning tools. Their films to show, icebreaker activities, customizable PowerPoint presentations. These resources were huge time savers for me, and we've used the same PowerPoint each year, making small edits to keep it up to date. A few days prior to the event, we let our employees know what's going to happen that day, and we'll have a dress rehearsal. Providing a map to your shop and setting up a clearly defined entrance is essential. You can obtain sign templates from the Manufacturing Day website to welcome the students. We give our shop a good cleaning and decide on which areas we're going to focus on in advance. You can't and you shouldn't show everything. We focus on 4 areas mainly. We focus on our nested base router cell. That's our CNC machinery area where our production begins. Our component production cell, that's our saw and our doweling machine. We then switch to our press room cell where we're pressing thermofoil on doors all day long. And then our 5-piece door cell where we're creating 5-piece doors. We shuttle the groups in between and designate one employee as a timekeeper. That person's job is to make sure the groups move smoothly in between the stations at about 15-minute increments. We keep our machines running and include participants where it makes sense. Like we may have a student load a part onto our CNC machine, and they may step back and hit the button. Of course, they're supervised by our that team lead. If you're going to have the machines running, don't forget to provide safety glasses for your participants. We found name tags are a good idea, but not essential again. It's a good idea to have a designated person to take pictures of your event. One year we had our local photographer come and take a few pictures. That made it easy for us to post to social media websites. Now, you don't have to have a large shop or be a huge company to host a tour. I know Blum is a lot larger than JB Cutting. We're about 50 people strong right now, hoping to add on. You could give a quick overview of what you do, focus on a few areas, maybe end with a finished product, and then have a question and answer session. Now here's a recap of our top tips and tricks. As your event wraps up, posting updates to social media is a great way to let people know about your business. Manufacturing Day is a national event, and Manufacturing Day headquarters will typically repost your content. I know they've picked up some of mine. They provide a hashtag. As long as you hashtag it, they can search that and easily repost. Now, templates of suggested tweets, Facebook posts, and hashtags are available at their website to make posting easy. You don't have to be a social media wizard or guru to get the word out. Now, as our tour wraps up, we'll bring everyone up into our break room, and we have job applications on hand, and we finish the tour with a small snack, and our employees like to mingle with the tour guests. Like Brian said, there's a huge buzz the day of the event, and our employees really love speaking with students. This has been key for us. The students get to talk to our employees, and our CNC team lead ends up getting the most applications. He really relates to the students, and returning students say that his tours are always the best. So you don't necessarily have to be an owner to give an exceptional tour. It's all about relating to your guests. After the day is over, be sure to thank your guests. We usually call the teachers that accompany the students or drop them a short email, and we'll keep in touch with them throughout the year. Since 2014, we've had around 14 students start as co-op or interns. We've gained 5 employees, one of which started as a shop helper, and now he is our first shift press operator. These are some photos from one of our events. Our current employees are excited to visit with their former teachers, and we always make sure to get a group shot before the students head out. Manufacturing Day is a celebration of what 12 million people around the United States experience every day: pride at working in manufacturing. Contributing stories, photos, and videos that show how much manufacturing means to people is important in our efforts to develop our future workforce. I thank you for listening, and now let's hear from Thomas Allett of Stiles Machinery.
Perfect. Thank you, Christina. I appreciate it. Christina and JB Cutting actually hosted our executive briefing conference, and they did a fantastic job doing that, so I can't even imagine what their manufacturing day looks like. So as Christina said, my name is Thomas Allett. I work for Stiles Machinery. I'm the manager of Stiles University, our learning and development program here in-house. For those of you who are not familiar with Stiles Machinery, we are a machinery and solutions provider located in 5 different regions throughout the United States. I am located in our Grand Rapids office in Michigan. We have about 450 employees, and I'd love to kind of walk you through our manufacturing day. This is our first manufacturing day, or last year was our first manufacturing day. We put together about a team of 5 or 6 people in various departments throughout the company who had no experience whatsoever with manufacturing day. So it was a really big challenge for us to come up with a plan and an idea of what we really wanted to accomplish throughout this day. And so what I want to do is kind of walk you guys through what we decided to do. Instead of focusing on just the manufacturing application of our industry, we decided to take them through a full journey of manufacturing, starting with the machine building and how our machines get put together at our facility just down the road. So we actually split our tour into 2 different segments in 2 different locations. They started about half a mile down the road at our manufacturing assembly plant, where they learned about lean manufacturing and what it really takes to calibrate and make sure these machines run seamlessly. From there, we kind of gave them a full manufacturing overview, right? So in the manufacturing environment, there's not just people that are assembling machines or putting together parts. You've got accountants, you've got HR, you've got engineers, you've got designers. There's a lot of different positions that are available in manufacturing that don't just tie directly into the steel, if you will. So once we went through that manufacturing overview, we brought them back to our Stiles University, which is, again, just down the road. Gave the kids some popcorn and some water. I would highly suggest that you stay away from high sugar drinks and candy, as they'll be bouncing off the walls by the time they're done there. So we felt that popcorn and water would help them keep the noise down by keeping them occupied, but also satisfy their cravings for something sweet or salty. When they got to Stiles University, we took them through what we call the design process overview. In this particular design that you'll see here is we were making a guitar body. And so we took them from the idea, the concept of idea, kind of walking them through how it comes through someone's brain, onto a napkin, onto a piece of paper, then onto a computer, and then walk them fully through, there we go, what the design process demonstration looks like. So as you can see in this picture, we've got different variations of changes that have been made to this guitar body, all the way from, again, a napkin, all the way down to a final product. Once we taught them about that, we showed them some machine demos, right? So people like to see engaging and exciting things, and so we turned on all the machines in our showroom, so it was louder. You can see the kids are wearing safety glasses, big proponent of that. And we showed what each machine does, but then after that allowed the kids to kind of touch the materials and see what we were working with. And it could have been a plastic, it could have been a wood, it could have been a unique piece that they wouldn't have seen before. And we kind of allowed them to get a little bit more hands-on. From there, we went a little bit further and did, sorry, the computer's just delaying a little bit. We went to hands-on demos. We selected a few students that really seemed engaged and allowed them to help Gordon, one of our CNC instructors, put this part through the process and really kind of finalize what this piece is going to look like towards the end. Once that was done, the kids were ecstatic, right? As you can see, we made a full body mahogany-based guitar. On the bottom it says Stiles, and on the top it's engraved with their school's name. And so by doing this, we wanted to say, hey, manufacturing isn't just the part where it's on the manufacturing floor. There's different applications where you can go into, whether it be sales, marketing, accounting, HR, education, so forth and so on. And we really feel like we accomplished that very well through this process. What we learned from this event was huge. As I said, it was our first manufacturing day, so we didn't really know what we were getting ourselves into. Working in education, I'm starting to see a transition of the baby boomers retiring out and a younger workforce coming through. And we were super surprised to see that the youth is actually more interested in manufacturing than we expected. They just haven't been exposed to it. And so by exposing them to processes and saying, hey, in this industry, you can make unique and cool products, it really energized them and kind of opened their eyes, which led to a lot of, hey, I want to work here when I graduate, which was huge to us. Kind of one of those tingly moments where you get the goosebumps and say, okay, we accomplished what we really wanted to do, and really change their perspective of what our industry does as a whole. But the unique thing is that we had 3 different schools attend, roughly around 100 kids in 3 different sessions. But we had a regular school, or a fast track school, which is a normal K through 12 program, but we also had an alternative school come through, which entails maybe these kids aren't following the straight path that we're all used to with K through 12, and so they get moved into an alternative school that's usually for the arts or the design or the manufacturing side. And it allowed us to kind of change the scope of what we're trying to get out of these kids when they come into an industry such as woodworking. And as a company, we learned a lot. I think at the end of the day, we had a lot more fun than the kids did because we got to kind of take a break from our day-to-day stressful jobs and enjoy our industry through the eyes of someone who had never seen it before. It really showed pride within our company. People that weren't even involved on our team wanted to get involved somehow. I got emails after we were completed with manufacturing day saying, hey, can my kids' school come next year? I saw that you guys put a manufacturing day on. It was really, really energizing for our company. Another thing is that it's not that hard to plan and organize. We are a larger company, contrary of what Christina said, but the funds that we put into it, besides time and resources, were probably around $250 max, and that was mostly for popcorn, water, and some supplies such as wood. And the biggest thing that we did is we partnered with our local intermediate school district. We're very fortunate to have a very connected ISD. They're always reaching out to, we have Steelcase and Herman Miller in our backyards, so they're reaching out to us and those two to see what we can do to help them and what they can do to help us to attract kids. So they really helped us a lot. So how we got to have a successful manufacturing day, as I think you'll hear consistently through this presentation, is manufacturingday.com was a big resource. We went into it blind. We didn't have any idea of what we were supposed to do, and it walks you through step by step. It's super easy to use. They have a media package that's available to use with branding and logos, so that you don't have to spend time designing it yourself. You can literally just drag and drop in place, and it makes your event look extremely professional. I didn't have as much to do with the website side of things, but I asked our marketing, digital marketing expert, Andrew Swanson, what was the best part about this website? What was the easiest thing for you to use? And he's a little bit competitive, and so he said the side-by-side comparisons of the events going on around you. So who are you competing with as far as other companies or industries that are trying to reach out to these kids as well? It gets a little bit of competitiveness and makes you want to better yourself a little bit more to make sure that your event stands out. As Christina said, we used Facebook and Instagram as huge promoters, not only for the kids that we were trying to attract, but also for our customers to see that they can get involved in things like this as well. If they're local, they can send people to our places or even host their own event. But this is me right here, very awkwardly explaining what Manufacturing Day is to try and encourage more people to do it. And then this was a recap video that we used to show what we did towards the end. Again, the Intermediate School District, Kent ISD is our local ISD, and they helped superbly. They actually did all the recruitment for students for us. They organized the busing, helped us organize our schedules very well. So all we had to do was focus on our event only and not have to worry about recruiting from different schools in the area. The best advice that I have for everyone that's hoping to host their own manufacturing event is just have fun and be yourself. It's amazing the energy that you put off to these young individuals looking to come into our industry or looking for guidance to go into an industry or a career. And if you show who you really are and show what your company is really about, you'll get that tingly moment where the students will be coming up after and saying, hey, where can I apply? I really want to work here, which makes for a successful event. To wrap it up, we put together a small little video that we threw on social media that I'd love to show you guys. And it really kind of encompasses what we went through for Manufacturing Day and how it turned out. You work here today. You wear the right color.
Here, this is our inventory section of the factory. We build about 70% of the machines.
stove, lightning bolt, something. Put that out.
You're weak, Hayden.
Can't move.
Okay, hello everybody. My name is Saul Martin. I work for Architectural Woodworking Company. I am the shop superintendent here. Honestly, I couldn't have done it without AWFS's help, Adria primarily. I am very fortunate that right here in Los Angeles, close to them. Our event was held in 2016, and we basically broke it up into three sections. We had a tour of the facility, a presentation, and the vendor expo. During the presentation, the people or the students would watch a video, short video, and they would get their safety glasses prior to going into the facility. And we would also give them a dog tag. The dog tag basically had an engraving. You'll see a picture of it there, where it just shows manufacturing day and our logo. On the backside, it had a QR code, so they could go back home or show their friends later on with their smartphones a link of what they did that day. Throughout the floor, we basically walked the different departments in our shop. What else? Once they finished the presentation or they saw the tour of the facility, we had an actual, I guess you could say, a small fair, trade fair show. We had about 120 students that came by. They were local high schools. The event was set up to be open for 6 hours. So we started from 8:30 in the morning till 2:30 in the afternoon, which by then it was pretty much everybody was gone. Everybody was tired. It was a long day for us. It was an open public event, so anybody was able to come in. A few of the teachers did RSVP or call in, and they asked me what time was a good time to come in, and I try to encourage. I try to line them up within half an hour of each one of them, simply because I ordered a taco truck. I had a taco truck here for everybody, so that as they finished the tour in their time with the expo, they could actually go out and have lunch. Our vendor expo, we basically want to reach out to everybody. I know how it is in this industry. As a woodworker, that's not the only job out there. I mean, there are hundreds of pathways you can take to be involved in the woodworking industry. So we wanted to make sure that we brought in one vendor from every facet of our industry, at least in our exposition that we had. And you can see the listings of people that we had here down in the slide here. It went very well. I think some of them might have had the connection to get some of the employees from the students that participated in the event. And one of the biggest things that I've been trying to push as of late is name brand recognition. Everybody knows Snap-on, but how many people know Lamello? So I guess I've been going on a kick trying to support the entire industry. We try to outreach with local schools, like I said, with Adria's support and the woodindustryed.org website, which is just a matter of getting getting your name out there or the activity that you're hosting. It's certainly good to network. I know that even my people that were at the expo, all of my vendors, some of them didn't talk to each other at first, but towards the end of the day, they became friends. So perfectly good networking opportunity there. Once again, name brand recognition for the students. We took lots of photos, which were posted later on the site. I know that there may be an issue sometimes with putting up photos, but that's something that you may have to discuss with parents. And let's see, one more advice for companies. Had I been able to, I would have posted our event much earlier. I kind of did it a little late. Of course, with the help of AWFS, we were able to promote our event, and we had a pretty good turnout. Again, don't forget to call your local legislators and media to support your event. Even though I tried, I think it was one radio station did announce it because one of my employees heard it. And all I can tell you is, I usually do things last minute, so just do it. It was a lot of fun. My employees had a great time as a volunteer. Me volunteering, I try to do as much as I can for my employees. And that day specifically, I provided a Skills USA T-shirt for everybody to try to promote skills to all the students. It was not even now, everybody still talks about the event. So it was a really good event, and I certainly encourage everybody to do it. It takes a little work, a little effort, and on my behalf it was a little cash, but it's okay as long as I could help some of these inner city students. Being that we're in East LA, I know how tough it can be, and them having a trip out to a facility and potentially taking on woodworking as their career path is extremely satisfying to me. And that's about all I've got for today.
Thank you so much, Saul and Brian and Christina and Thomas for sharing. And especially thank you guys for hosting your events. That was a lot of fantastic information. I want to go over a couple frequently asked questions that I hear when I try and talk about Manufacturing Day with companies. Just a reminder, again, if you have any questions, please post them, and then we'll take questions after I go over this. People are often concerned about space constraints. As you heard, we just heard from 4 different sized capacity-wise companies. Can you host an event even if you have a very small shop or not much room? Absolutely. Just be realistic. If you can only accommodate 20 people at a time, for example, make your event RSVP only and cap your attendees. Always consider safety. Make sure you have tour pathways or a place for people to stand at a reasonable distance from machinery. Liability often comes up. What happens if a student gets hurt during my event? Again, you want to do everything you can to ensure your environment is safe during the event. However, if something does happen, if students are there as part of a school field trip during school hours, generally the student is covered under the school's liability policy. If you're really concerned about this issue, this is another good reason to require RSVP for your event so that you can discuss this with the schools who are registered to attend in advance and find out what that school's or district's policy is. Photography. If you don't want people to take photos during the event, you can specify that on your event details on the manufacturingday.com website. And certainly reiterate this clearly at the event and when the tour begins. Alternately, if you want people to take pictures, give them a hashtag so that you can find the images afterwards. Saul mentioned checking with parents. There's generally, I guess, standard practice is, you don't want to be taking pictures of minors and posting them publicly. So that's another thing you would want to ask the school about what their policy is, and definitely working with that school and communicating, okay, I'd like to share these photos in advance. After I get through this, Thomas has some insight on that as well. I'll let him add on too. Competitors. People are worried about what if a competitor shows up. The nature of Manufacturing Day is to bring the industry together as a community to help address the skills gap. However, if you have something top secret or specialized or proprietary in your shop, just don't tour that part of the shop. or avoid that area. If you're worried about uninvited guests attending, you can make your event private, and you can require an RSVP to attract your attendees, and certainly have a sign-in sheet. You can do name badges. There are ways that you can, monitor and keep track of who's at your event. Food, there's definitely a concern, do I need to provide food? Should I? Different schools have different policies about feeding students during field trips. The general rule of thumb is that it's courteous to feed your guests if you have an event taking place over lunchtime. If you don't have the resources to provide a lunch, offer the event only in the morning or in the afternoon. But we don't want that issue to deter you from offering an event, so get creative. You can talk with the school. They may have alternative options. You can also get creative. Maybe if you're working with your vendors, are they willing to help sponsor a lunch? And maybe I'll go in on a little bit of it. Is there a local restaurant that could use the promotion and might want to work with you? Students, I will say that students certainly remember the extra stuff like food and goodies. So while it's certainly not mandatory, it just it makes it a little bit more fun for them. Hiring. If you're looking to hire people immediately, I would recommend that you incorporate a job fair element to your event. I attended one event where the host gave a presentation about the company and then a plant tour, and then they had their leadership and HR staff on hand to help interested people complete job applications and go through a pre-interview on site. So they transitioned it right into a job fair. If you're doing something like that, you'd also want to make sure that your local employment agencies and organizations are aware of your event so that they can help people attend. And so obviously it wouldn't be strictly students. It could be just job seekers as well. Interaction with high school students should generally be seen as a long-term outreach endeavor. You may get some students who are graduating soon and ready to start working pretty quickly, but generally they're not ready immediately. So this is more, the bigger picture about making them aware of careers so that it's on the top of their mind when they're ready to start looking. Having said all that, I'd like to open it up to question and answer. If you have any questions, again, please post them and our panelists can respond. It looks like we don't have any questions quite yet. So Thomas, you had some great insight on photography. I was hoping you would add.
Yeah, absolutely. So we, being a university and a learning development location, we actually already had the paperwork lined up. But what we did is we actually worked directly with the schools and had the teachers or guidance counselors kind of steer that for us. We gave them an indemnification, basically saying, hey, could you send this home to the parents, almost like a field trip request form, saying, hey, my kid's going to this location, and we're okay with him or her getting their picture taken, and kind of explain the event on that piece of paper that you're sending home, say what's going to be available and what's not going to be available. And then majority of people will send it back with a, yeah, that's fine. We had 2 people send back that no, they didn't want their kids being photographed, and we just made sure that they weren't in any photographs that we took. As far as an internal memo goes out, we gave everyone a good heads up so that no one had customers coming in or even internal programs going on at the same time, because a lot of that can cause confusion. And anything that was proprietary, people would let us know ahead of time to make sure the kids weren't touching anything or taking photos of anything they weren't supposed to be.
Thank you so much. Great thoughts. Any other panelists have anything to add about any of the other presentations or any of the frequently asked questions?
I don't mean to jump in again, but my only thing would just be, don't worry about what the kids are going to think. Majority of the time, they've never been exposed to anything like this. And so this is a big eye-opening experience for them and an opportunity for us as an industry to open their eyes to show them what they can do in the future if going to college straight away isn't the right fit for them.
Yeah, I know in our first event in 2014, I was a little nervous about how the kids were going to react. Were they going to be bored or roll their eyes? And seeing the engagement on their faces, it just, like Thomas said, gives you those tingles. It's wonderful.
As for myself, I think just establish a rapport with local. Being that we look for woodworkers, I try to stay in contact with local woodshop teachers. It's the best way to get involved, helping the teachers have a better curriculum and for you to be potentially get employees, pre-trained employees, I guess you could say, that come already with a high skill set.
From our side, we don't view Manufacturing Day as optional because it's more mandatory. Where we sit from a geography standpoint in the workforce shortage, we have to reach any potential interested student as quickly as we can so we can develop, like Sol just said, that rapport and connection with them. So there's an interest on their side. We certainly want to get them engaged with our companies as soon as possible. We have programs, as I mentioned, the apprenticeship program, which makes a lot of sense. And sometimes parents and students aren't exposed to how beneficial an apprenticeship program would be. So this Manufacturing Day allows us to talk about that as well. So just really stay connected with your local schools districts.
All fantastic points. Thank you guys so much. Well, since we don't have any questions, I'll go ahead and wrap this up. Thank you so much for joining us today. I hope that you found this webinar informational and helpful. Please feel free to contact any of us with any questions. Our contact information is here. If you decide to host an event, I would love to know about it. If it's going to be a public event, I am happy to promote it through our social media channels and elsewhere. If it's private, I'd still love to know about it just to track the momentum. So shoot me an email, send me the link, and just let me know what you guys are working on. Meanwhile, I will be sending out information within the next day to this webinar recording and some other information and resources to supplement this about Manufacturing Day. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and again, thank you for joining us.